everybody! How's it going, my fellow Homo sapiens? It's your boy, the legendary Hadou, and I'm coming at you with another manga review. Manga Samurai 8, Chapter 3, The Tale of Hichimaru. This and more coming at you next. Alright, so this chapter here, I really enjoyed. I'm going to be honest, it wasn't a really long chapter, it wasn't a whole bunch of reading, it was just kind of straight to the point to a certain extent, and it had some pretty interesting areas. So, we open up with some samurai, or bushi. I believe they're samurai because they seem like they had some machine parts and some ruins looking around, and we get this guy that jumps out and attempts to attack the samurai. However, he ends up getting one of the samurai swords, and he can't use it. He's like, what the hell's going on? Well, we learned very early in this chapter that some samurai swords have an authenticator. And an authenticator is you can't open it without their DNA or their handprint or something. So it's some type of safety or child-proof lock on the samurai swords. I really do like that. I think that is really awesome. Then we get to Hichimaru and Nameless. They're kind of just walking around, and we get this group of kids that just swarm Hichimaru. They're just really fascinated with this kid. They're like, yo, what's up? Oh my god. A samurai of your age, around our age, they were just insane. They would just love Hichimaru. They really fell in love with this kid. They were just this shocked. And this is something I really kind of like because it differs from something, I'm a kind of contrast. It differs from Naruto, when Naruto was a kid and he was coming in, people hated that kid. People just really hate him. Even as a watcher on the outside, you kind of like, you kind of disliked him. But Hichimaru is a little bit different. Kids love him. They're like, yo, he's awesome. And not just that, he is kind of cool. I mean, he hasn't done much, but he is kind of cool. Now, Nameless at this time seems to be a little bit jealous. He feels left out, and at that point, he starts to regret coming out with Hichimaru, and he kind of goes off and pouts a little bit. You know, he's just like, I could never be like him. You know, this was a big mistake coming out here. But the reality of it is that Hichimaru immediately noticed that Nameless was gone. He looked around. He was like, yo, where's that kid? And the other kids was like, we didn't see anybody. So it kind of shows that Nameless is just kind of invisible to everyone else. It's just like people just doesn't notice him because he's kind of like a nobody. He's just so plain that really no one really even noticed that he was there. Now, by this time, we finally get the enemies pulling up. They pull up in their big tank. They feel like they're big stuff. You know, they're going around. They're destroying these cities. They're looking for samurais, I guess, to try to sell the souls or something of that nature. Now, these enemies, you can already tell they're weak. They just look weak. You know, they don't really look like, they look like trash mobs, to be honest. And they roll up on Hichimaru and they attack. Now, Hichimaru around this time attempts to use his samurai sword, however he can't. And it's because it's locked. And this brings back to chapter 2 where he fell into Nameless room. What ended up happening at that time was he accidentally picked up the wrong sword. This is not his sword, and Nameless sword has an authenticator on it. So right now, he can't unsheath his sword because it's not his. So you're like, oh man, what's about to happen? So they shoot at Hichimaru, and at this time, his dog jumps in, Hadou, and pulls up this big ass shield. Now, one thing I will say about the holders is they're so awesome, man. Like, these holders are so awesome. I really like Hadou. I think that being a samurai and being a key samurai is going to be something totally different because when you have these holders, they seem like they can do so much. They can make shields. They can give you armor. These holders is awesome, and I really love it because it really kind of makes like being a samurai that much more awesome, man. And to be honest, I really can't wait to see what other holders can do. Like, I'm quite sure there's gonna be some really badass holders in this series. So he ends up pulling up this shield to protect Hichimaru. They do another blast, and Hichimaru is protected behind the shield. Now by this time, Nameless comes back around. He shows up. He's looking. He's hiding behind a corner. And at this moment, he's kind of giving the personality to his left hand and his right hand. They're kind of arguing with each other. Should they help Hichimaru or should he not? It's like, should I help him? Should I help him? Can I help him? Or is it my place? So he's kind of arguing with himself back and forth. And then Hichimaru with his arm blown off. Boom! Oh, like, oh! But the cool thing here is that being a key samurai, if this a flesh wound, you can just regenerate that arm. But by this time, Hichimaru is not looking good. He can't defend himself. his holder shield has broken. It's like, what can you do? So Hichimaru keeps trying to pull the sword, and finally he unsheaths the sword. But what ends up happening is No Name comes in. He grabs the sword, he helps him unsheath it, and Hichimaru, Nameless, just goes in and just destroy this tank. Now it's funny because the enemies inside the tank is like, you can't cut this tank. This is the best technology out here for a tank. You know, like you can't cut this tank with that weak sword. And they end up slicing that sword. They end up using that sword to slice that tank right in half. It was beautiful. Mwah. So the enemies at this moment is finally done. They're destroyed. It's over. And the kids are kind of happy and things of that nature. But what's really awesome is Nameless, or No Name. I kind of like calling him No Name. But Nameless, he's finally happy. He has a smile on his face. And Hichimaru's like, yeah, we're friends. Let's be friends. And Nameless is like, no, I don't want to be your friend. And I was a little confused on this aspect, and I'm going to kind of focus on that a little bit more. But I guess he was saying he doesn't want to be his friend until he's his equal, until he can become a samurai too, so he can be his equal. But at the same time, the thing about Nameless is I really like Nameless. I love his character design. That's the thing. I really love Nameless' character design, but I just don't know about his personality. Like, the biggest issue is I don't know where they want to go with Nameless. I understand this is only the 3rd chapter. We only had him for 2 chapters right now. But I don't know, is he a male? Is he female? I'm kind of leaning that he's a male. But then again, I don't know what they're trying to set up here. I don't know if they're trying to set up like he's going to be the rival, he's going to be the best friend, or they're going to make him a love interest. You know, if they're going to make a love, I need to prepare for that. I need to strap in, and get ready and prepare for something like this. So Nameless right now is kind of confused me. I don't know what they want to do with this guy yet, or this girl yet. I just don't know. So it's kind of messing with me a little bit. Y'all let me know how y'all feel about Nameless. I like the character, but I want to know what they're going to do with him. So then we get the final part, and it's the cliffhanger. We have Daruma, I believe it's Daruma. He's sitting there with Hichimaru's father, and he's talking about the soul. You know, why did you have it in Hichimaru's chest? You know, something's not right here. And he takes the soul, he puts it on his sword, and he swings at Hichimaru's father. And Hichimaru's father just doesn't budge. He just keeps his tea in his hand. He's like, eh. And Daruma, he's like, who exactly are you? And I really love that, because what this does is it puts that mystery. You know, it makes that concept of, you know what, like how you had Naruto, how Naruto's father was pretty badass. I love that idea where when you have the protagonist, the father is usually really, really badass or something. And I was hoping they were going to do something like that. At first, when we get the first season, the first chapter is like, his father's probably just some no name, nobody. But now it's like, yeah, he might be somebody special. So I like the concept that there's a secret, and it could be a really, really cool, badass secret. Like, this dude is godlike, and he's broken, and he's powerful. Or it could be nothing, you know, it could be something stupid, or he could be really evil. We have no idea, and I really love that mystery, that who is his father? You know, like is his father really a samurai? Was he an evil samurai? Is he something more? Or, you know, is there something else there? So I really like that cliffhanger. But overall, I enjoyed this chapter. I enjoyed this chapter a lot more than chapter 2, where you kind of just met Nameless. Where this chapter here, we did get a little bit of action. We did get to see the holder move around, and then we did get that cliffhanger. But overall, I enjoyed this chapter. You let me know how you felt about chapter 3. Please rate, comment, share, and like. It really helps the channel. Thanks for watching. Matane.